Michella Chester here with NCAA Digital. I've got my Power 10 rankings after week 2, and I've got to say this week has been one of the most difficult to date ever. It'll be different than ABCA, and this thing is going to change week after week, maybe even drastically. First two were not difficult though. Texas and Wisconsin, again. These two are a clear number 1 and 2. Texas withstood the challenge of Minnesota in a 4-set win and then swept Stanford. 8 aces in the win against a Stanford team that is proving to be really competitive and talented this season. This Texas team will be tough to beat all year. Wisconsin notched 2 sweeps over Dayton after an impressive first week. These two teams returned their core and seem to be multiple steps in front of everyone else. For 3, I moved up Nebraska. The Huskers were pushed to 5 by Omaha, but still came out on top even without Lauren Stivrins, and picked up 2 more wins over Georgia and Arizona State. I like how this offense is looking. 4 through 10 is an absolute cluster. I mean, these felt practically impossible. At 4, though, I'm going bold with Pittsburgh. A big jump, but look, they beat Baylor this week and Tennessee, who also beat Baylor. They're playing ranked teams and coming out with wins. Quality wins against ranked teams means a lot to me. Ohio State comes in at number 5 after remaining undefeated last week. I debated Ohio State versus Florida here, but Ohio State has got a win over Washington, a team that is still in the top 10, but Florida has a win over Minnesota, who's dropped out, and a loss to Stanford. So here's Florida at number 6. The split week makes them so tough to rank, but despite Minnesota's losing record, they put up a fight against Texas and have some of the top players in the country. Florida still took them down despite Stephanie Samity's 31 kills. At 7, I've got Kentucky. They dropped down from number 3 to 7 after getting swept by Creighton at home on Saturday. The Blue Jays were unranked in the ABCA poll before this win. Purdue is at 8 for me. They are 4-0, but I'm still waiting to see them against some tougher competition. And we've got that coming up with Louisville this weekend. Washington stays at number 9 with 1 loss on the season and then 2 4-set wins over Illinois and Iowa last weekend. And then lastly, number 10. Arguably the hardest spot to rank out of them all. I considered Louisville heavily here, and Oregon, 2 undefeated teams. But then I looked at teams like Stanford, Creighton, Baylor, and even Minnesota. Those are teams with super tough non-conference schedules. Teams that probably would be undefeated as well if they weren't playing such tough opponents. I lean tough schedules and ranked wins. Baylor beat Minnesota but lost to Pitt and Tennessee last weekend. That knocks them out. Creighton has the huge win over Kentucky, but they need to prove their way up in the rankings first after starting the season unranked. Minnesota has played the top teams in the country, and I was so impressed with its performance against Texas. But look, both Stanford and Minnesota played Florida and Texas. They both lost to Texas, but Stanford got the top 5 win over Florida. It's bold, but I'm putting Stanford in. A top 5 win in my books means more than undefeated against unranked teams. Louisville and Oregon and BYU have tough games coming up, so that's when they can make their way into my Power 10. So after all of those deliberations, my Power 10 is complete. Get ready for some more volleyball because it can only get more exciting and difficult to rank from here.